Hello, Wheel and Anchor members. Thanks for tuning in to this week's edition of your Wheel and Anchor weekly newsletter. Well, as you can probably tell by the backdrop, I'm not in Thailand anymore. First, I wanted to give you a couple of short clips explaining the journey that I made from Thailand here to Vienna, Austria, and what it was like along the way. Well, the first leg of my trip was actually a ferry ride across the sea from the island where I reside, Koh Phangan, to Koh Samui. I couldn't take a video because the ride was quite rough today as we're at the beginning of the monsoon season. But now I'm here in Koh Samui Airport, which would ordinarily be bustling with people. They typically handle several thousand passengers a day, and as you can see, nobody here. I'm here in Bangkok Airport on the second leg of my journey, and it's really quite surreal because I arrived here exactly a year and a half ago in March of 2020, and at that point the borders had just closed and it was getting very quiet, but not nearly as quiet as it is now. And I mean, this is one of the biggest airport hubs in Asia, and there's nobody here. I mean, sure, it's night, but typically dozens and dozens of flights leave to destinations all over the world. And I can't help but to wonder how, does an economy, how does an industry sustain this duration of closure? Practically everything is boarded up. The majority of people that are here are staff of the airport. We'll see. There's hardly anybody that's on the flight that I'm booked on. So this is the state of what's going on here. Let's find out what it's like at the next stop. I'm here in Abu Dhabi on the third leg of my journey. And what's been interesting is that, of course, strict health measures have been in place everywhere I've been, physical distancing. But in any event, even here, and this is one of the important connecting hubs in the Middle East, there's hardly anybody here. We're about to get on the aircraft, and can't be more than 20 people at the boarding gate. So it's, again, still very apparent that travel and tourism has a long way to go. The whole trip went remarkably smoothly. There were hardly anybody on the flights, as I mentioned, and it was kind of a delight when we think about the previous norms of air travel and packed airplanes and barely any room to stretch out and relax. This was certainly not the case, so I actually quite enjoyed the journey here. When I arrived in Austria, all that was required here, in my particular case, was a negative PCR test to be able to enter the country. And no sooner did I get here, I went to St. Stephen's Cathedral behind me, which is, of course, the landmark, the icon of Vienna. And inside was a vaccination clinic where within a couple of hours of landing, I was able to go and get my vaccine shot, something I've been waiting to do for a long time. It wasn't obviously possible in Thailand. And so I feel very good and happy. It's now time to continue my journey around Europe and do some more research and development for our Wheel and Anchor programs next year and beyond. Over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be giving you reports as I make my way through various countries in Europe, letting you know what the situation is on the ground, how people are reacting to this COVID situation, what the requirements are, all in anticipation of us being able to hopefully travel here next year as planned. Here in Austria, for example, although they seem to be approaching a fourth wave as at home and as in many parts of the world, at the same time, life seems to continue as normal. There's lots of people out on the streets. For the most part, I think people are acting in a very responsible manner. You need a mask to go into most shops and restaurants and certainly on public transit. But otherwise, people are out and about, smiles on their faces, and the vibe here seems very not that different than the last time I was here a couple of years ago. So I'm very pleased about that. And as I say, I'll be giving you more reports on the situation here in Europe as the next couple of weeks progresses. Just wanted to let you know about our webinar program for the upcoming week. We're going to be featuring the Tahiti and French Polynesia next Thursday. So please do join us for that webinar. This is an exciting motor sailor cruise that we're going to be doing, and in 2020, at the end of next year. It's going to be a great program, and I know that there's been a lot of interest for it. Beyond that, we're going to be taking a week or two off and then returning with our webinar series on our first programs to South America in the spring of 2023. So until then, take care of yourself. Greetings here from Vienna, Austria, and look forward to catching up with you again next week.